Uh, well done. Welcome to my YouTube channel again, and I have to apologize for our viewers for a long time break that we have not been around, but we are back now. So sorry for that. And if you are new to this channel, I will urge you to please subscribe to this channel, and that's the only way you can help this channel, by subscribing and share it to your friends and people. This is a channel where we make mathematics become simpler. Not only mathematics and the other sciences. Thank you so much. Today, I would like to talk about surd. Surd. So, what is the meaning of surd? Surd is the square root of irrational numbers or elements simplified by basic rules or laws. The square root of irrational numbers. When I say rational numbers, what do I mean? It's a number that cannot be put in form of ratios, cannot be split. A number that cannot be split. Like if I have root of 3, square root of 3, we can call this number a rational number because 3 cannot be you cannot get the square root of 3. It's not possible, and you cannot split 3. So 3 is an irrational number. And I say of element can only be in form of root of x. This is an element simplified by basic rules or laws. We have the rules, additional rules, multiplicative rules, rationalizations. And also, if you have root of 4, you all know that this is the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. It's plus or minus 2. So, square root of 4, this is not a surd. It's not a surd because so far I know the square root of 4, which is to be plus or minus 2, or 2 anyway. So this is not surd. This is not surd. Like when you have square root of 16, square root of 16 is not a surd because square root of 16 is 4. I guess now it's not a surd. But when you have like square root of 5, this is a surd because this one cannot be split. It can no more be split. It cannot more be split. If I have square root of 32, square root of 32, this is not a surd because I can split 32. I can split down 32. This is not a surd. This is a surd. And this one is a surd because it cannot split it down. You cannot split it. This is a surd. You cannot split it. This is a surd in form of elements. That's why I say surd is a square root of irrational numbers or elements simplified by basic rules or law. Okay, that is what you have to know. How do we now simplify surd? That's the things we have to know. Simplification. Simplification of surd. Now, if we have known how to simplify surd, the rest will be simpler to us. This is where the work lies, and it's very simple. How do we simplify surd? Now, if I'm given 32, I should simplify 32. Now, like I told you, this is not surd because it can be splitted. The 32 here can be splitted. Now, if I were you, I would think of what are the two numbers I can multiply together that will give me 32. Now, actually, we all know that 8 times 4 will give me 32. Also, we know that 16 times 2 will give me 32. 8 times 4 will give me 32. 16 times 2 will give me 32. Are you getting now? Now, if I want to simplify these things, how will I simplify it? I will advise you to go for this. Because, now, let me show you why. Even though you go for this, we are still going to arrive at the same answer. But let's see something now. If I say 16 times 2, I'm trying to split it down. So this square root that covers the 2, you are permitted to now do like this. Square root of 16 times square root of 2. square root of 16 times square root of 2. Are you getting what I'm saying? So this square root of 16, we all know this 4 times square root of 2. Are you getting this now? So 4 times square root of that is 4 root 2. What? 4 root 2. 4 root 2. So this is a surd form of root 32. The surd form of root 32. Now, at times you will see it in your surd, maybe there's books or anywhere. They can write something like this for you. 4 root 2. They will now tell you to write it as a single surd. As a single surd. What does that mean? Because, here we have whatever you have here, 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 4. When you have something like this, they ask you to write it as a single surd. Whatever that is here, you multiply it twice. Like 4 times 4 times what is it? 2. 4 times 4, 16. 16 times 2, that's 32. That's 32. If you are given something like this and they ask you to write it as a single surd, just multiply this one twice and multiply by this one. So it will give you something like this, which we have this. Are you getting what I'm saying now? I told you that we should go for this. Why? Because you have already split it into scenario whereby you have a number that is a surd. Because you all know that the square root of 2 is surd and it cannot be splitted. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Because if you use this one, this one can be splitted and this one can also be splitted. Let's try this one. Don't forget, we say square root of 32. If you use 8 times 4, that is, I told you, you are permitted to do square root of 8 times square root of 4. Are you getting it? 4 can also be splitted. 4 can be splitted like 4 times 2 times, what's square root of 4 times 2? Are you getting what I'm saying now? So this one becomes square root of 4 times square root of 2 times 2 times 2. And what's square root of 4? That is 2 root 2 times 2. Now, 2 times 2 here, that is 4 root 2. And you see, we arrive at the same answer. We arrive at the same answer. It depends. You can use this one, you can use this one. But I'm just advising you to use this one because it is easier. Just when you use 16 times 2, this one is already solved. Just say square root of 16, that is 4, and that is 4 root 2. We arrive at the same answer. Now, let's take another one. So when we get how to simplify surd, the remaining will be so simpler. Let me take another example here that we can simplify together. 50. How do we, if they ask us to simplify square root of 50 surd. Now, how can I multiply two numbers together that will give me 50? We have 2 times 25. And what again? 10 times 5. 2 times 25 and 10 times 5. Those are the two ways through which I can have 50 as a whole. So that means that if I do like this, 2 times 25, I told you these two, you can now split it and say square root of 2 times square root of 25. This is a surd. Square root of 2 is a surd. It cannot be split. It cannot be splitted again. It cannot be splitted again. But what's square root of 25? That is 5 times square root of 2. 5 times root 2, that is 5 root 2. That is 5 root 2. 5 root 2. Now, if you want to try this guy, 50, if you want to say 50 equals to root of 10 times 5. This one cannot work because if you say root 10 times root 5. Are you getting what I'm saying now? You say root 10 times root 5. Even though you do something, sorry, I can say 2 times 5 times root 5. That is root 2 times root 5 times root 5. Don't know whether you are getting it. Sorry, I want to continue this one here. Sorry. Root 2 times root 5 times root 5. That means root 2 times root 5 times root 5, that is root 25. And root 25 is what? Is 5. And that is root 2 times root 5. So that is 5. That is 5 root 2. Sorry. So we can use this and we can also use this. It will work. It will work. But to avoid stress, why can't you just pick this straight? Like just pick this one 2 times 25. What am I saying is that when you want to split, when you are simplifying surd, pick two numbers that when you multiply them together, one is already surd, while one is not surd. And the one that is surd, it cannot be broken again. And the one that is not surd must have a square root. Like this one now. When I pick it, I pick, this one is surd, and the other one have a square root. Think of that two numbers. Use this straight so that it will reduce your stress. But if you look at the second one, 10 times 5, it will work. But it will acquire more stress than this one. Like, when I pick this one, 10 times 5, just split it. Root 2 times root 25. And root 25 is 5. This one is solid. It cannot be broken down. So just say 5 times root 2, that's 5 root 2. But when I use 10 times 5, that's 10 times root 5. Like I told you, this 10 now, you have to break it down, because 10 can still be broken down. 5 cannot be broken down, except if you want to say 5 times 1. And mind you, root 1 is still 1. Root 1 is 1. So, otherwise, root 10 times 5. So 5 cannot be broken down. But this one can be broken down 2 times 5 times root 5. Root 2 times root 5 times root 5. And root 5 times root 5, they can be, that's root 25. 25 times root 2. And 25 is 5. 5 times root 2, that's 5 root 2. So I'll advise you to just go for this one that is first straight. Now let's take another one in simplification of surd.